Information is power.
All right, everybody, let's talk about the Amber Rose, Nick Cannon foolishness. I just don't understand why we'll even support these two individuals. First of all, let's talk about Nick Cannon just real quick, because I'm going to get on both of these individuals. Nick Cannon is to me, an irresponsible man. I don't care if he's got money, he's a celebrity or what have you. Here we have a black man who's not married to any of the women that he's had a boatload of kids with. He's not able to be in those kids' life emotionally. You've already seen Mariah Carey, who he was married to, that his kids that he had with her have come out and have called him out. But this is an irresponsible, I think, a buffoon, a Sambo type of character, a minstrel show type character in this man that you see right here, Nick Cannon. And he has the nerve to allow someone like Amber Rose, who has a nasty history as well and an untalented woman, he had the nerve to let Amber Rose get on his driving podcast, whatever you want to call it, and say that white people should be able to use the N-word. Now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a woman who was a stripper, has no talent, can't sing, can't dance, has absolutely no talent, okay? This is a woman who's a member of the mega movement with Trump and all that other clown, or that whole clown show, everybody, okay? This is a woman who has already said, I don't know why black people embrace her, who's already said she doesn't see herself as black, she doesn't claim black, the whole 9 yards. This is a woman that has already told us that she sees herself as a biracial in the whole 9 yards. And I don't have a problem with that, because why is she even in the lexicon of discussion and now saying that white people should be able to use the N-word? Check this out.
Racial people are not black people. We're just not.
Wow. That's, hold on, wait a minute now.
Then when you talk to other biracial people, how do they feel about what you do? Most of them say, "I'm finally, you said it," or like,
yes.
People don't understand.
Most of them say that.
This is complete foolishness, everybody. So that's the biracial thing. That's how she sees herself. That's her business. But then why do we need people like Amber Rose trying to stir up the pot about the N-word? We know that in our community, some of our black communities, people use the N-word as a term of endearment. But I'm here to tell you, why are we using that word as a term of endearment, okay, when that's a word that was used in a destructive manner? No other group that has been peppered with what we would call racial slurs is using those racial slurs as terms of endearment today. We need to get away with, as much as we want other people, or we say other people can't use that term, we need to get rid of using that term as well as much as possible, especially with that hard R, okay? Because Amber Rose said what she said because she feels comfortable. We've allowed people like the Amber Roses of the world to feel too comfortable when it comes to her opinion about the black community, her opinion about anything. And then we allow people like the Nick Cannons of the world to be able to run around and say the things that he said about the Democratic Party. Look, the Democratic Party, and I'm going to demonstrate some things today, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, both parties ain't worth a bag of fries. They're both despicable. They both have a history. Yes, the Democrats have a history as it relates to the Klan and what have you, and racism, what have you. Both parties do, because let me break it down to you if you don't already know this. You see, it was the Southern Dixiecrats, or the Southern Democrats, who are the ones who had an issue with black people having freedom, justice, and equality. They aligned themselves with the Southern Republicans because there were different factions within the Republican Party and the Democratic Party who did not favor black people having rights, being able to vote, any damn thing, right? They wanted to keep us in slavery. They wanted to keep us in Jim Crow situations. And let me also say this too, that it was LB, President LB, who had told his Democratic Party, we will lose the South forever because of giving black people the right to vote. And when they did that, it was the Daughters of the Confederate who put up all those Confederate monuments all over this country. Guess who the Daughters of the Confederate were part of? They were a part of that what? Republican Party because the Dixiecrats, the Southern Democrats, jumped from the Democratic Party over to the Republican Party, and the races that were in the Republican Party, Southerners, they felt the same way. So that's some history on that. Two, you will have black Republicans and Republicans that will brag about Abraham Lincoln freeing the slaves. I'm here to tell you that he didn't free anybody. What he did is emancipation, which means we didn't get freedom because we went right into what? Black codes, Jim Crow, and the whole 9 yard, and black men being what? Put on trees like strange fruit, as Billie Holiday would often sing about, okay? So we didn't get any freedom. Matter of fact, Abraham Lincoln wanted to ship black people out of this country. Abraham Lincoln felt that he wanted to keep the Union together. So this whole idea that the Democratic Party, Republican Party, they're both the same. One will destroy you softly, one destroys you directly. I just want to bring it up because Nick Cannon had to throw himself into the political discord along with Amber Rose. And, you know, she's a mega head, a Trumper, things of that nature. But let me give you a reminder because the great man himself, Malcolm X, already told us not to listen to celebrities, trumpet players, singers, dancers, comedians. What the hell is wrong with us today? And check this out. Malcolm X said it the best.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
Definitely, Malcolm. So we really shouldn't be listening to any of these celebrities. They don't do anything in our communities. And we definitely shouldn't be listening to people like this woman right here, Amber Rose. We should not be listening to these kind of people. It's a damn shame. Do not listen. Please do not listen, because it's foolishness to listen to these people who have no talent. In the case of Amber Rose, absolutely no talent, getting involved in our business, telling us what we should do, telling us that white people should be allowed to use this word. Let me let you hear the foolishness that she said that everybody got everybody talking right here. Check this out.
White people should be able to say nigga. So, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh, shit.
Because no one, when you really stop giving a fuck about stupid, dumbass words, will stop killing each other. And Nick, it's very different. You know, if it says the hard R and they're pointing at you, it's very different than rap lyrics.
She says, you know, when someone is using the hard R, while she sat up there and just used that term, and Nick Cannon is driving his goofy car, while this white girl, who's already said she doesn't see herself as black, and I'm cool with that. I just don't think that we should be platforming someone like this. And let me let you guys know something right here that I find very interesting about this whole situation with Nick Cannon. Do you know after this whole thing went down, he got a lot of bad pushback, from people on social media, like I'm doing right here, that he deleted the whole interview with her, which he should have never put it out there in the first place, because the man is not thinking critical when he put this nonsense out in the first place. Nick, what was wrong with you platforming this crazy girl? Now, I know that she did some work with you on Wildin' Out on MTV and all of that, but you let her sit up there and say to you that white people should be able to use the word while you smile and drive that car like a buck dancing raccoon. You know what I'm saying? Foolishness like that, man. What in the hell is wrong with you? Now, let's unfortunately get back to some more of this nonsense, shall we?
Or saying, oh, that's my nigga, that's my homie.
Right.
You
if
know?
somebody's using a term as a derogatory term,
but we know that.
Hurt, you know the difference between somebody just saying
we're all
a rap
smart
lyric.
enough. We're all.
This is the foolishness right here. Why do we continue to use this word and justify it? Because we want to turn it into a positive word that we use to give, to dap up and to give respect to our friends and loved ones. That's foolishness. No other group is using derogatory slurs from their past to greet one another. Why can't we go back to the days when we used to, I'm going to say this again. Why can't we go back to the days as a people when we used to say, what's up, my brother? What's up, my sister? Respect to you, king, queen, whatever. Why can't we go back to that we had in the 90s when people were coming at each other with respect? Why do we continue to use the term, that's my in, or that's my dog? First of all, you're supposed to be a man. A dog has 4 legs and a man has 2. The N-word has a historical context to it that isn't in our best interest. But let's go back to this foolishness between this fool, Nick Cannon, and this no-talented Flinsby. And another thing I want to say about her that's interesting is that Amber Rose is a white girl who came up as a stripper. Y'all know damn well if Amber Rose was a black woman who was a stripper at one point in time, people would not let her hear the end of it. But Amber Rose gets a pass because she looks like a typical white girl with the blue eyes or the green, whatever, gray eyes, whatever, right? And because she dates black men, and then you say to yourself, why is it that where is the pushback from some of our sisters on the fact that she gets in the bed or she gets herself involved with black men? But in this case, it's these goofy black celebrities who don't really have no love for us. And like I said, Malcolm X said, they're not leaders. They're not anything. What are we doing putting them on any kind of pedestal in our communities whatsoever? Let me put this up for you again.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader,
right,
or a dancer.
Smart enough to know what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
So why are we putting so much damage and pain behind? I let my kids curse. They have freedom of speech.
Right.
Why live in America if you don't have freedom of speech?
This isn't about freedom of speech. It's about the fact that we should be more dignified as a people, not to use that word. And then the question is, Amber Rose, why are you so obsessed yourself with wanting to use the word and to boot to say that white people should be able to use the word? Why? Just because there's white kids out there that get around black people and say the word and those black people don't correct them, that's an issue. Or there's white people who use that word, that's an issue. The historical context of the word has always had a negative connotation. I know there's people out there that say, hey, you could take the power away from the word by turning it into something positive. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go forward in the future, not drag the past into my future. We got to break away from this word, and we should absolutely not let anyone or accept anyone using the term or wanting to say to us in our face, as Nick Cannon allowed her to do, hey, why can't white people use it? They should be able to use it. This is complete nonsense. And we're gonna pull out of that right now because this is complete nonsense, everybody. We can't allow this. We can't make this acceptable. And let me show you this clip right here because, like I said, Nick Cannon deleted the whole interview, but it's too late because the internet, as you know, is undefeated. People have been talking about it. People have been making memes about it on TikTok and such as I am right now on YouTube. And you just can't escape the reality, Nick. You tried to hide it, but it's come back to hunt you. And check this out, everybody. This brother right here, I clipped this. He was on Instagram. He talked about Nick Cannon deleting it, but check this out.
Well, Nick Cannon found out he sounded like an idiot in his misinformation interview with Amber Rose. Nicholas deleted the interview and took it down off of YouTube. But unfortunately for Nicholas, the damage has already been done. This is one of the reasons he had to take that bullshit down.
I mean, if he
White people should be able to say, Nick,
oh shit,
because no one, when you really stop giving a fuck about stupid, dumbass words, will stop killing each other.
Amber Rose is so ignorant. I don't know how people follow her. Violence will 100% increase if white people started saying nigga.
Absolutely would. It absolutely would increase. because you would have some black people out there who don't like the word, don't use the word, or even if they do use it as a term of endearment, they may not feel comfortable or want to hear a white person saying that word. It's just the reality. And Amber Rose, it's ridiculous that we even have her running her mouth. She's not relevant. She has no talent. And I don't understand why she doesn't get the same pushback that a black woman would get if that black woman had that same stripper background as Amber Rose. If that black woman flaunted herself around with different men within the celebrity sphere, they would be choice words for that black woman. But Amber Rose is able to get away with it because why? She looks like she's a typical white girl, looks like a typical white girl. And then we give her a pass because she infiltrates herself into the hip hop culture. It ain't nothing hip hop about her. You see what I'm saying? Let me play the next video clip that I want to have you guys hear here. This whole thing is foolishness. Okay. Nick Cannon should know better than to platform a woman like this, but he's a buck dancing individual. Let me let you hear what this sister had to say right here. Check this out.
Dear black people, we need to stop dancing around the fact that Nick Cannon is a modern day one-man minstrel show. Let's just be honest about it, y'all. Nick is out here performing intellectual laziness at a level that would be embarrassing if it wasn't so dangerous. And yeah, I said it. What he did this week belongs on a long list of nonsense we can no longer ignore. He wasn't just sharing an opinion when he repeated one of the most tired, ahistorical talking points in all of American politics, claiming Democrats are the party of the Ku Klux Klan while praising Donald Trump, a raging racist and bigot. Nick Cannon stands squarely on a career black people built, funded, and sustained, and feeds us a half-truth like it was the whole damn story. If you are going to bring up the KKK, Nick, tell the full story, the political realignment of the parties, how segregationists didn't disappear. They shifted to the Republican Party, how strategy not.
Right, that's what I was telling you all, that they shifted to the Republican Party because it was the Southern, there were different divisions of Democrats. It was the Southern Democrats who were the ones who were involved in the Klan and did all those oppressive things to black people. But it was those Southern Democrats that left the Democratic Party, which was, by the way, founded before the Republican Party, jumped over to the Republican Party to join the Southern Republicans, who did not like the idea of black people, as I said before, getting justice, freedom, and equality, which we never did. And Abraham Lincoln didn't really free the slaves. He just gave emancipation, but it never really made us free. Not to mention this, that there were people, the reason why we celebrate Juneteenth is because it was to celebrate those black people who did not know that they were emancipated, right? Because not everyone knew. But at the same time, what happened? We walked right into what? Black codes, Jim Crow, and the white folks were still harming us. And those Dixiecrats that were part of the Democrats became very much a part of the Republican Party. You had the Southern strategy, which was Lee Atwater, who talked about if you can take the lowest white man and give him someone to hate on, which was black people at that time, he'll pick his pockets for you and pay you, give you money and support you, which is the same strategy that Donald Trump uses too. That all came out of the Republican Party when the Southern Republicans merged with the Southern Dixiecrats or Democrats. We got to know history, y'all. We got to know history about how this whole thing went down.
Loyalty reshaped the map, but Nick didn't, because Nick can't. At this point, he's just another loud, wholly uneducated voice with a mic and not enough sense to know it. From anti-Semitic rhetoric to conspiracy-laced commentary, he keeps showing up loud and wrong, then wraps it in free thinking like that makes it credible. It doesn't. Right. Independence without knowledge is not enlightenment, Nick. It's buffoonery. When you package distortion as insight and prioritize reaction over reality, you are not educating your audience. You are entertaining them at their expense. And
Facts.
that has a long, ugly anti-Black history. So no, this is not just Nick being Nick. This is ignorant performance over truth. And at some point, we have to stop calling that his opinion and start calling it exactly what it is. Some minstrel show, step and fetch it, BS.
Right.
Tell the truth.
I agree with everything that sister said. She broke it down. Now, let me play something else. This brother, I think he ran for Congress, and he gives you a little breakdown of a little bit of what I was talking about Lee Atwater and the whole political stuff, because of course Nick Cannon had some things to say. And I'm going to say this very clearly. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party, both of them ain't worth nothing. Okay. Black folks, what are we getting out of the Democratic Party today? We haven't gotten anything out of them in the modern times. Yet you can't tell me what the Republican Party has done for us either today in the modern times. Both of them are not worth a bag of fries. Now, let's let you hear this right here. This is going to be very interesting.
There's been a lot of commentary about Nick Cannon and Amber Rose talking about Republicans freed the slaves and Democrats were the Klan. Not a lot of conversation about this guy, though. Not a lot of conversation about Barry Goldwater, who was the Republican nominee for president in 1964 against LBJ, who passed the Civil Rights Act. He was the senator from Arizona. He voted against passing the Civil Rights Act. He said extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice. Moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue.
That's right.
Barry Goldwater ran for president, and he is the father of the modern conservative movement that we see, not Ronald Reagan. When Barry Goldwater ran for president, he lost drastically, but he won Arizona, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina, the Deep South. These were the states that were most against passing the Civil Rights Act in America. And the senator from Arizona won those states. And as a result, he birthed the modern far-right movement that we see today. As a matter of fact, Ronald Reagan endorsed him in 1964 when he ran for president, because Ronald Reagan was at the start of his political career. Reagan gave a speech in support of Goldwater in 1964, and Reagan's political career was gaining momentum. 2 decades later, he would shake up the political establishment by pursuing Goldwater-like hawkish policies. So if you're not talking about the 1964 election as well, where these 5 states in the Deep South, which we know fought the hardest against the Civil Rights Act passing, as well as this West Coast state, Arizona, then you haven't done enough homework and don't know enough about politics in our history. These things are quite easy to find too, how Barry Goldwater brought the far right center stage in the 1964 presidential race. We listen to too many of our entertainers and athletes like they are our advocates and our scholars. And if you're not willing to sit down with the advocates and the scholars, you should, and leave it to those who are really trying to help Black folks advance in this system called America. And if you don't know.
There it is right there. So this is what I want to play for you next, because you're going to have Republicans and Black conservative Republicans as well, who've been using this propaganda that the Republicans are the party of Lincoln. They're the ones that freed the slaves. Such bullshit. Lincoln didn't give a damn about Black people. Like I said, he was trying to get rid of us. He also had some choice words to say about us. But check this out. This is why learning history is important every day, all day. Check this out, everybody.
Just before Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, he called the Negro leaders of his day to the White House, and he tried to convince them, to convince all of Black America to leave the country. Not many people know that. That's not taught in American history, but it's an absolute fact. To go to Haiti, to go to Central America, actually bought land in those places. This is what Frederick Douglass said to the president. Every effort to remove us from this nation will be lost labor. Here we are, and here we will always remain.
That's right.
See, one fantasy that America had particularly those in the South, was that somehow we could just get rid of those people. But we are like baby kids. We don't die, we multiply. We are here on a divine mission. Here we are, and here we will always remain.
Right, right. I'm going to give a clap to that. Now, let's continue. I have one more piece that I want to show you before we get to conclusion here, and I really appreciate you all. We're going to get to this right here. Now, not only did Lincoln attempt to try to get rid of black people by putting us in South America, putting us in Haiti, Frederick Douglass, thank God, didn't go for the banana in the tailpipe, but Lincoln wanted us out of here. For you so-called people that think that he somehow did great things for black people, it's all a lie. Listen to, this is a quote from Lincoln as it related to the whole issue around slavery. Check this out.
Slavery is not wrong. Nothing is wrong. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it, not for themselves. I would save the Union. Mercy bears richer fruits than strict.
Now, I said before, Lincoln was all about keeping the Union together. He didn't give a you-know-what about black people being free. He was about keeping the Union together because the South, particularly Texas and those southern states, they had a contingency plan. They were going to move their slaves, black people, down to the Rio Grande near the near Mexico. And of course, as you know, the history, Mexico forced them out of there. And that's why you get the Alamo, the battle at Alamo, because the Mexican government wasn't having it with the slavery. They had a contingency plan to split from the Union to become their own people. And they were planning to move their operations down south into Mexico. And Lincoln was all about keeping the Union together. If it meant freeing, if it meant giving black people emancipation or not, he would do it. And then even after he did the emancipation, he was setting up here trying to convince leaders like Frederick Douglass and others to buy into this idea of having black people be shipped out of America. How many of y'all know that history? So when these goofy conservatives, black conservatives in particular, start pushing that narrative, you need to have this information as a weapon of knowledge because they don't know what they're talking about their damn selves. I just wanted to tell it like it is there because people like Lincoln and all these kind of folks, they're not our friend. They were never our friends. Now, everybody, before I get ready to end this podcast, once again, this is the foolishness of one Nick Cannon who doesn't know history, but he knows how to have a lot of babies all over town. Two, this is also the foolishness of someone like Amber Rose, who we know that she's a flimsy. She's the one that was pushing this slut walk in Atlanta, Georgia. The slut walk. She pushes everything that we should not be celebrating or even looking up to. And she already told y'all she ain't black. So why are we even rocking with an Amber Rose in the first place? Now, with that said, I want to let you know something. Do you like Saturday morning cartoons, everybody? We're bringing Saturday morning cartoons back to you. Okay, my man Yalpo, who's been working on these animations, we're going to be presenting this on this channel. I'm going to bring my man George Makem, my man Q Butter, because we want to make animations for them, for their organizations, Zion's Institute, as well as Urban Nerds Worldwide. And we're going to be presenting this to you, but I'm going to give you a little taste of some of the characters that he has in the lineup coming soon. Check this out. This is a little bit of a commercial right here. Check it out.
Welcome back to Saturday morning. Like, share, and love.
All right. There it is. I just wanted to give you a little taste of that. Thank you, everybody, for watching the video. Make sure you share this video on all your social media. Tell people about the channel because I definitely would appreciate that. That if you share the channel, put this video on all your social media. I'm gonna say this again because you know the algorithms are funny on YouTube with black content creators. Let let people know about the channel, those that would be interested in this type of content and more. And I appreciate everybody out there, new subscribers. I give you a clap. Thank you very much. All right. This is very important that we keep this thing going on over here. And everybody, y'all take care. Tell someone that you love them, because we need to start loving each other a lot more in this world than hating each other. But we can't have people like Amber Rose telling us that white people need to be able to use the word. Who is she to make such a statement? Crazy. But with that said, everybody, this is the Information Man Show. We're getting on out of here. Peace. Take care.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Tell the truth.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems, you gon' regret everything. So I let her know.
BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts. BS3 Network is now on Roku TV under BS3 TV. Download today.
It's that smile. Lord knows I ain't seen that in a while, but it's your style. So something must be up keeping you down. You a queen that must be heaven sent. Pray my soul, I must repent for not telling you what I meant and how I felt. Honestly, I'm used to throwing wishes in a well. My conscience tells me that I could have helped without fail. Actions speak louder than words, and that's a lesson that I learned all by myself. Let her know, I gotta let her know that she my white horse, she my medical. She like my baby mama, know how to take care of me. Give my baby problems,